So this is a center update with Dr. Gary, an opportunity for me to share a little bit about what happens behind the scenes, things that aren't necessarily apparent via our community announcements. So last Sunday after services, 11 o'clock service, we had our town hall meeting, and Dr. Jim presented our budget, and we had a robust conversation about it. And within that meeting, a question was asked. And so we had also shared that our goal is to 100% underwrite our operational expenses via automatic giving. And that's our goal. And so someone asked the question, well, how are we doing with respect to that goal? And so rather than to just share that information with a very small group, we had about 55 or 60 people, because our whole community needs to be hearing this information, because this is about how we are doing with that intent. And so I just want to share that information very briefly now. So first of all, we're moving from a minister-centric ministry practice to a mission-centric ministry practice, because the minister-centric model of ministry is not sustainable anymore. So we're moving out of a tithing-based funding model into a spiritual cooperative. And so in order to shift our emphasis from focusing on developing owner partners from the traditional way of just hoping that you value and appreciate what your experience is and giving into that, we are instead wanting to create a spiritual cooperative where we own what we're trying to create together. And so towards that aim, we have set this goal, and every year we're going to be holding up the mirror with respect to how we are doing in the intent to 100% underwrite our operational expenses. Now, our operational expenses are different than the whole budget, and so it's calculated by virtue of what we need to anticipate as love offerings and donations and tithes from our community members and friends, as well as what we must also, in addition, raise with respect to fundraisers in order to be able to fund the organization. So this amount is $283,000. Our overall budget is $304,000 for this next year. So if we have 200 people in our community that we can count on for some financial relationship to the church, then we take that 200 and divide it into the 283,000. We come up with a cooperative share, and that's $118 per month per adult out of those 200 adults, out of us. And that translates into $27 a week per adult. Now, not everybody is able to do that. That's $120 a month, and so only 29.5% of our community meets or exceeds that benchmark. And so with that said, what we're wanting to understand and celebrate is that right now 76%, or 155 people out of the 200, are involved in some form of automatic giving, either through the Tithely app, through automatic bill pay, or through their own banking system, or they've given us their credit card to debit, or they write checks religiously. So that group, 76% of us, is engaged in that effort. So it means we have room for development. Now, those of us that are in that group of automatic giving, we contribute 68% towards the effort of funding the $283,000. So our effort at automatic giving is funding almost 3/4, not quite, of what's needed. And so what we need now to kind of consider, and that is, we need to move the needles if we're to reach this goal. And so let's say the goal in 5 years is for us to 100% underwrite the operational expenses of this church. And so all we need to do is each year look at moving these needles. So next year, if we can look at moving the amount of people who are not involved in automatic giving to automatic giving from 76% to like 80%, then we'll see that we're actually making progress. Moving the amount that we totally raised together from 68% to maybe 75%, and moving those who are involved in meeting that corporate share benchmark from 29.5% to maybe 35% of us. And so some of the things that you can consider doing without thinking about giving any more, and we're not asking people to give more, we're just asking everybody to be conscious and intentional with respect to your relationship to the ministry. Most people only give when they're present, and when they're not, while they still care about the church, we have to deal with the shortfall. So if just by making your gift automatic, what you'd normally give in a month, making that what we can count on, that helps us out. Moving from us debiting your credit card to you using the tithing app or using your own bank bill pay saves us $400 in annual fees a year. And then finally, just looking at the whole idea of creating a spiritual cooperative where we're in owners, and the owners are in partnership with the leaders of the ministry. To be in the question of what can I do in the context of my effort to move those needles, that's a question that we're asking each of us to be in integrity with. Not so much doing what you're doing, but doing in the context of really joining the effort to make sure that this organization, Unity Spiritual Center, and its purpose of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference, that this organization is sustained. Okay, that's my pitch. That answers that question. Thank you so much for your attention.